Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Simple Fund 360 New Features webinar for April 2021. My name is Andrew Pascoe, so I am the Simple Invest Product Manager here at BGL. Today we have quite a lot to get through, so I really appreciate you taking the time to have a look, jump in and join us today. So I'll be covering the features from both our February release as well as our more recent March release. So at a guess, I'd say that the first 80% of this webinar will be showing all the updates for Simple Fund 360, which is while you're all here, of course. And then for the final 20%, I will give an update as to our progress with Simple Invest 360. So feel free to hang around for that if you wish, if you want to see what we've been working on and what our progress is so far. So the session will be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel as well as on the BGL community. So if you need to go over it again or you have like to share it with some colleagues that weren't able to attend, you'll be able to do that. Now all attendees will be on mute, but please feel free to put any queries you may have into the Q&A. We have a group of product experts sitting in waiting to answer your queries, and they include Sid, Austin, Krish, Beck, Lucky, and of course Super Mario. So what will we be covering today? There are I'm going to call it 5+1 key area that we'll be covering today. So any data feed updates, corporate actions added, distribution tax automation, property dashboard improvements, some report improvements that we've done, and of course the Simple Invest 360 sneak peek and progress report. So for our data feed updates, for the St. George loan accounts with the BSB beginning with 3, they are now supported via the BGL Bank Data Service. So head over to the feed management screen to set this up. We're also now receiving daily prices for M funds. You do not need to do anything to activate this. So M funds might be something like you see on the screen, AMP, Capital Corporate Bond, or the Alexander Fixed Income Fund. So you don't need to do anything to set up this daily price coming in. These prices will be loaded automatically overnight, similar to how we are automatically loading daily prices of other listed securities. Now for the balance review screen, which is pulling in and confirming unit balances on a quarterly basis to the major registries, you can now add multiple postcodes to the same HIN. So before we were supporting multiple HINs to one postcode, now we're supporting multiple postcodes and also multiple HINs. This is solving the problem for you where you might have a client that has perhaps moved and they forgot to update all the registries. So I'll just jump into the software and show you where we can do that. So in order to set this up, all you need to do is go into the feed management screen. You can see here we've got registry data. Click on the setup or edit button. You can see in this first security here for Altium Limited, I already have a HIN and a postcode in there. Now, if I wanted to put in another postcode, I'd just put in the same HIN, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I would put in another HIN. And I can now save that. You'll see that'll have the same HIN with 2 different postcodes there. While we're here in the feed management screen, I also wanted to show you the Domicom integration that we've set up. So this is a new daily feed for a managed investment scheme. It's called Domicom. I'm sure if you're all familiar with that. So Domicom is basically a fractional investing scheme which allows investors to invest in one or more properties of their choice by this sort of structure. Now the feed that we'll set up will automatically import cash, investment, income data, and income data on a daily basis. So to set up this feed, we go into our feed management screen once again, and we set it up as a wrap or platform. So we go to the bottom, click on setup, and then we select the feed provider as Domicom. In this account ID here, we need to be putting our Domicom account number and then we click on save. So the client's advisor will also need to email Domicom to complete the setup process. They'll need to email them at clientservices@domicom.com.au, and that will complete this setup for this data feed. And for the final point here, we have the default investment type mapping that we've improved. So default investment type mapping has been greatly improved so that when you purchase a new investment, this will be allocated to the correct control account. So we are now mapping 99 different security types, which ensures that we have a high level of accuracy. So for example, with those M funds, we're now mapping them by default to 74700 managed investments. And for something like options or warrants, we are now mapping those to 72300 derivatives. We still do give you maximum flexibility to be able to alter this if you wish. And as part of this change, we're now also displaying the security type in the investment security list. So you notice under investments, investment security list, we'll see here we've got the security type there as well. So corporate actions, our team has been working tirelessly to add another 14 corporate actions over the last couple of sprints to our corporate action module. So the list of added corporate actions can of course be found in the new features release notes for February and March. I'm just giving you the list here up on the screen for you to have a quick look through. One of our most popular features, of course, is corporate actions. But one of my favorite features and a huge time saver is distribution tax automation. I'm sure you've all had a bit of a look at this. So for distribution tax data, we've added 3 more securities. We now have a VVR, Magellan MGF, and Centuria Capital Group, so CNI. That means we have a total of 718 securities that we now support for financial year 20. And if you haven't used this feature, you really are missing out. This can be found under compliance, distribution tax automation. There you will find a list of all the securities that you've received distributions for and the tax data that can be pre-filled using the Generate Tax Data Lightning bolt that you'll find there. Make sure you have a look if you haven't already. Property dashboard. So our compliance team have improved the functionality of property dashboard by adding some highly requested client wish list items. So the property dashboard can be found under investments property dashboard. And you will see now, let's just zoom out a bit, that's better. You'll see now we have added a last rent received column, the date there. We've added an option to sort by the last valuation date. This is great being able to sort through all your properties. And we've also added filters for GST status, so registered, not registered, and LRBA, yes, no. And we've also added an option to enter the lease start end date. So to add that in, you just need to click on the edit button here, and you'll see down the bottom we have lease start end date that we can put that information into there. So some great wish list items that were added there. As always, we are happy to receive feedback and requests from clients. And the next feature I wish to show you is another highly requested wish list item from my clients, and this is the previous year and external contributions wizard. So the wizard can be found either from the member list. So this is member list under member transactions. You see here the previous year and external contributions option here. Or I can also access it directly from the contribution dashboard. You'll see here for each member. So for Lewis, you see here, I've already got some that I put in earlier. Otherwise, I can just select the drop down from whichever member I wish to add these to. I can add some more if I wanted to. So you can see here, I can add multiple at the same time. All I need to do is select the financial year that they pertain to. I can input the fund's name, the description, and the type. and of course the contribution amount. Down the bottom, it is also giving me a running tally of our concessional and non-concessional. And then we can go through and click on Save. Success. So if I go back into those, you will see that the system will record the user and date details for the entries. So we're giving you that audit trail there. Also adding this information to members in Simple Fund 360, this ensures that the contribution dashboards and relevant reports are up to date, as well as the concessional and non-concessional contribution caps will reflect the true position of your clients. Furthermore, if I wish to run the contribution summary report, here's one I prepared earlier. You'll notice that here we go. For this one here, it's added a note for this member. So the contribution obtained from information external to current funds transaction records. The amount is per individual across all funds. So we're adding a note there for that report for you as well. So report improvements. We have released a transfer balance account report declaration. So the report will list selected TBA events for particular members in a period, and trustees have the option to sign this report electronically. We'll pick up the signatory for that report from the trustee field in the fund relationship screen, so make sure you've got it set up there correctly. Of course, this was once again another highly requested wish list item so that the accountant can keep a declaration for their own records. This is not necessarily an ATO requirement, but the accountants were requesting this for their own records. We've given you the option to hide the member at TFN or date of birth. We've got a toggle there for that. So that's under our general report settings in the badge. Now this will hide the TFN and the date of birth as a default, and this will apply to 30 reports across Simple Fund 360. We've also enabled these custom mail merge fields, so the ones you can see on the screen there, so resolution, title, trustee of directors, the corporate trustee company name, person to company name, person first name, middle name, and also the sign line for trustee of director. We've enabled these custom mail merge fields to show also on pension commencement letter confirmation, pension commencement minutes, and also pension continuation letter and the minutes for that one. So this allows you to really use these mail merge fields to customize the letters and the documents that you wish to be sending out to your clients. It allows you to really run everything through Simple Fund 360 rather than having to do some in Simple Fund 360 and some in Word and slowing you down there. And then finally, for report margin setting in the account view feature update, I'll jump over into software again. Okay, so for the report margin setting, this was, once again, I hate to keep repeating it, but we are listening to clients. We have under settings and badge, under this badge here, you'll see we've added some of those wish list items. Here we've got the report margin now. So you can see the report margin for this badge, it's set at -20. You can set that wherever you wish. You can move further right, further left. This one here I'm going to be setting at -20. This means that the margins now will be smaller on the left than they would have been under the default setting. To show you how that works, I can jump over into a report. So for example, statement of financial position here. You'll see I'm just using a regular badge that I've created. Preview that report. You'll notice on the left-hand side here, the margin is quite wide to allow for people who wanted to print these out, punch some holes in it, chuck it in a binder. Now, if I switch the badge over to temp badge where we had the reduced margin and I run the report again, you'll notice that margin is much smaller on the left-hand side. So maybe not everyone is printing out and putting things in binders these days. Maybe you want to have a little bit more space on the screen or in the PDF that you're sending out to the client. You can now do that through the badge settings for our reports. Okay. I'll jump over and show you the improvements we've done for account view. So some of you may already be familiar with the account view that allows you to quickly check the details in each account. Can be accessed from up here in that Excel type logo. And it can also be accessed from reports and account view. So with the latest release, if you've used SmartDocs to upload any bank statements, so that's when where you're dumping a PDF or a scanned copy of the bank statement into Simple Fund 360, we're reading that data for you and importing all of the data in. If you've uploaded any documents through that, you can now go into reports and account view, click into the bank account here, and you'll notice that we now have a PDF icon next to the transactions that were uploaded this way. So if I then click on that PDF icon, another window opens up here, and you'll notice that we've opened up the bank statement that these documents, these transactions were imported from. And we're also highlighting for you that transaction itself. So it might be easy to see here on this statement. It's only got a few transactions, but you all know you've got those clients that have got huge amounts of transactions going in every year. And this will be a really easy way for you to get through and find where that transaction is on the bank statement. So some pretty cool stuff that our big data team are working on there. So that was about all I was going to run through today. You see, we're very efficient here. We've got it done before 12, so everyone can go off and have a good lunch. We'll stick around for another few minutes. If anyone has any questions, make sure you send those through. Otherwise, I really appreciate you taking the time to have a look at the new features today.